It's Trey Lance's time to shine. You heard Kyle Shanahan to start the show. No more ambiguity, no question. It's Trey Lance's team, and it's everything we've been saying on Time to Shine for months. Trey Lance, time to dance. Trey Lance had to be the starter this season, and Shanahan today at his news conference, kickoff 49ers training camp, made it crystal clear. Bag it, Jimmy G. Hello, Trey Lance. This was the right move. This was the only move because I didn't make the trade for Trey Lance. Kyle did. John Lynch did. And that meant Jimmy Garoppolo had to go. And that meant Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't be anywhere near San Francisco 49ers training camp because it was supposed to be Trey Lance's time to shine last year after they gave up all those first-round picks to pick Trey Lance, number 3 overall. And they needed Jimmy G to save the season and take these weapons and the phenomenal defense all the way to Championship Sunday. See, look, this 49ers team should be the answer to the question of who should give LA the most competition to win the NFC. The weapons are amazing. Debo is incredible. Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the business. Kyle Shanahan is a sensational head coach. Nick Bosa. The 49ers defense, it's absolutely incredible. The 49ers upside, the Super Bowl. Simple as that. That's the goal for San Francisco. Trey Lance needs to be given all the confidence in the world. There are questions, there are doubts. Experience is really the big deal. Didn't play much last year. Didn't play much because of COVID in college and the 2020 season, obviously, that was basically wiped out. Trey Lance, when you look at it, at the end of the day, oozes talent. He could, in theory, be the next Josh Allen in terms of his athleticism, his arm, his accuracy, his smarts, and his leadership. Fair or unfair, that time to shine for Trey Lance is now. Whoa. I mean, have you ever heard Bill Belichick praise any ball player like that on day one of training camp? Never. Not once. I've never heard that before. And look, I love Mac Jones. In fact, tying it in with the 49ers from our last topic, I begged the ready for primetime 49ers to take Mac Jones with the 3rd overall pick because he was ahead of the curve and ready-made, and I thought Mac Jones had a terrific rookie season. And in theory, he's ready for the leap year number 2. I just don't believe the Patriots are going to be any good. The numbers on the screen are worthy here when you look at Mac Jones. He was tremendous, I thought, as a rookie. Did a heck of a job. This is flat out embarrassing when you look at the receivers on the New England Patriots. And Bill Belichick deserves major heat, major criticism for giving Mr. Mac Jones this at the wide receiver position. Oh, by the way, they still refuse to name an offensive coordinator. And I think this is a gigantic deal. I mean, Bill Belichick has done some things that, frankly, it's all about ego. And I know Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of sports. Patriots dynasty will never be repeated or duplicated ever in any sport. What the Patriots accomplished, salary cap parity, greatest example of a dynasty in NFL history. So I'm never going to be the guy who knocks Belichick, but how he handled Tom Brady, not having a replacement, not giving Mac Jones weapons, not giving him a real play caller, not naming an offensive coordinator, not replacing Josh McDaniels appropriately. I love Mac Jones. Obsessed with Mac Jones. I couldn't get enough when the Patriots picked him and then how he played last season. But there's no reason to believe he's going to be better this year because the Patriots, coaching or players, didn't do enough around him. It's July 26th, which means every team in the National Football League is officially reported to training camp. You got to love sports, and you got to love the outlook for my guy Justin Herbert and the Chargers this season. Justin Herbert, dreaming. And if you're a fan of the Chargers, you have to be pumping your fist just like Herbert was on your screen. Because I believe the LA Chargers are a true Super Bowl contender. What Herbert has accomplished in his first 2 seasons, look at the yards, look at the completion percentage, the touchdown to interception ratio, watch him play. It's the greatest start to an NFL career at the quarterback position in NFL history. Stats and field back that up. I love how they brought back Mike Williams. I love how they drafted an offensive lineman. I think Keenan Allen is an absolute star. And I think that the Chargers, because of Herbert year 3, and the appropriate moves made in the offseason, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the LA Chargers have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense for this upcoming season. Khalil Mack, opposite Joey Bosa. Are you kidding me? J.C. Jackson, to me, was the free agent signing of the entire offseason. What he brings to the table on the back end of that defense, making plays, interceptions, something that lacked for LA 1 season ago. Remember what Justin Herbert did in the final week of the season, the final game. And, obviously if they made the playoffs and Brandon Staley did the right thing and at the very end played for the tie to make the playoffs, we'd be talking about the legend of Herbert, how he carried that team in that incredible showdown against the Raiders to make the playoffs on Sunday Night Football. That was a one-man band. Now the Chargers are absolutely loaded. They're ready for prime time. Look, they're still developing a fan base in Los Angeles. The defending champs are there. I think that the Chargers, on a power ranking, are better than the Rams. I would take their roster, their quarterback, over the Rams. I think it's Buffalo, Chargers, best 2 teams in the NFL. No excuse. Justin Herbert is absolutely the right guy at the right time for this football team. Hey, Brandon Staley, I know you're staying tried and true to your analytics and what you like to do, and you maintain consistency. You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. No excuses. It's not just sneaking into the playoffs. The LA Chargers should win the outstanding and very competitive AFC West, and the LA Chargers should be in the mix for the Super Bowl. Holy cow. Welcome back. Time to shine. Let's shine on some football. First full day of training camp, and Matt Rule says it's not his job to pick the quarterback. Literally, that's his job as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And with that said, what are we doing here? What a waste of time this quarterback competition is in Carolina. The fix is in. And let me take you a step further and be crystal clear, and I said this after the Baker Mayfield trade. The fix needs to be in. You make the trade for Baker Mayfield to be your starting quarterback. Matt Rule hates Sam Darnold, and I get it, because Sam Darnold was dreadful last year for Matt Rule's Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule's on the hot seat. Matt Rule needs to win. Baker Mayfield, in his opinion, and I get it, gives him a better chance to win. So my job is not to pick the starting quarterback. The players will do that. Get out of here. What is that? That is literally in your job description, to name the starting quarterback. And I would argue, considering Baker just got traded earlier this month to Carolina, he's got to get a chemistry with Robbie Anderson, who didn't want him here in the first place. Get a chemistry with Christian McCaffrey, learn the new playbook, learn the entire system, get a rapport with the offensive line, just end the garbage, the noise, the nonsense, the charade. Just make Baker Mayfield the starting quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. Give him every rep during training camp with the first team. But they won't do it because, hey, it's not Matt Rule's job. Some big news from Tampa Bay. Julio Jones reportedly signing a 1-year deal with the Bucs. Wow, another weapon for Tom Brady in this loaded offense. And honestly, I know that it didn't work out for Julio Jones last year in Tennessee, but I think that playing with Tom Brady, I think that as the number 4 receiver with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I'm kind of obsessed with that Russell Gage signing, and Godwin's going to be ready to rock and roll coming off of his injury. Evans is a stud. That playoff Lenny is going to be ready to rock when he sheds that weight and be ready for the start of the season. And Tom Brady has a gift. He's Tom Brady. He makes everyone around him better. So I love this signing by the Bucs and Jason Light. And I'll bet you Julio Jones is a solid player this year for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Heck of a move. The Green Bay Packers are reportedly rewarding head coach Matt LaFleur and GM Brian Gutekunst with contract extensions. Now, I get this. And I know I'm the guy who says blood in your hands, Brian Gutekunst, and I will say, obviously, that was the worst pick with Jordan Love in the history of the NFL draft, but the numbers and the accomplishments speak for themselves. And in the NFL, you can never minimize wins and losses. Now, the Love pick was absurd, and Jordan Love, even if you didn't have Aaron Rodgers, he was a risk-reward prospect who I didn't think was a first-rounder in the first place. But instead of giving Aaron Rodgers, Michael Pittman, or T. Higgins, you gave him his heir apparent, and it was a complete and utter waste. And if you picked someone to help Aaron Rodgers, perhaps could have used someone who could have helped advance in the postseason. But I know I crush these guys, or specifically Gutekunst, all the time. If you have the right guy in the GM chair and the head coaching chair in place, you don't mess around. Gutekunst has also met Aaron Rodgers in the middle in terms of the relationship. Remember, Rodgers told me that exclusively on the Adam Schein podcast about how they were able to mend fences. So I think this is all good stuff for the Green Bay Packers. How about this from The Athletic, where an unnamed defensive coordinator said that Lamar Jackson will never be a tier 1 quarterback. I mean, get a grip, get a clue, you anonymous defensive coordinator. And for you to actually say that without putting your name to it, I mean, that's despicable. And honestly, I have a problem with The Athletic even printing that. It's one thing if it's unnamed someone for information, but an unnamed opinion, I mean, that's just haterade in a clueless fashion with specific undertones. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a top 10 quarterback. Lamar Jackson, a unanimous MVP. Lamar Jackson is phenomenal, and anyone who has a differing opinion has an agenda, or clueless, or wrong.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.